Well, I've got a couple of things that I want to cover, and then we will open it up for questions. Nervously open it up for questions today. And so I want to talk about, obviously, with the weather coming, I want to talk about, again, the city's snow response, and cover a little bit about what we typically do with an event that's coming up like this. We have a fleet again of about 60 trucks. The crews were out around noon yesterday applying some mixtures. Our priorities again are emergency routes, bridges, intersections, hills, and curves. City maintained portions of Kellogg, which the state also helps, and then the areas within the central business district. Again, our policy does not include residential streets, and so I think people need to be very careful. And we do have some residential streets in this city that have some particularly concerning issues when the roads get slick, so people just simply need to be extremely careful traveling residential streets with impending inclement weather, and cannot encourage that enough. Our crews are expected to be out starting, I think, at midnight tonight on 12-hour shifts, Alan. Again, we're going to treat around many of the school routes first, secondary and school routes, and then the crews will be returning to those emergency routes. Alan is here if you have any questions about what he's doing with his folks to make sure that our streets are as safe as they possibly can be.
We've been watching the weather. Looks like the ice that was predicted has arrived. We deployed all of our 60 trucks yesterday afternoon. They've been making it through the routes, have gone all the way through the routes. Lost a little ground last night as we received some additional precipitation, and the temperatures are really cold. The streets aren't where we want them to ultimately be. We continue to deploy our trucks. We're laying down salt sand mix, and we will continue on 12-hour shifts all the way through this event and until the streets are in acceptable condition. At this point, we are doing just fine on our salt supplies. We maintain levels above 75% of the total supply, and we seem to be having good luck on getting resupplied. With that, I'll answer any questions.
How are the roads running?
The roads right now, for the most part, they're in pretty good shape. You'll find some of the elevated roads that have some slick places on them. The side streets, the parking lots are not in good shape. Those aren't on our snow routes. And I can only speak to the arterials. The Kellogg and the freeways are handled by the county and the state. But on the arterials, what we call our snow routes, they seem to be in pretty good shape. But we continue to treat, and we will do so until we get on the other side of the event. There may be some more coming later today, and if it's snow, we'll be plows down to actually start plowing rather than just laying down salt sand.
I've been hearing no more than a half inch of snow. Will they still be plowing in that circumstance?
Probably not. With that small of an amount, probably laying down salt sand and letting the traffic go over it will do more good than the plowing. Only if we get accumulations up around 2 inches or so.
Any challenges overnight and when the crews were out, even yesterday?
Ice conditions are always the most challenging because you transition from rain to ice, and while it's raining, the material you're putting down it's washing some of that off, and so you're really kind of trying to find the balance between laying it down not so early that it washes off, but not so late that it takes you a while to get on top of the route. So we like I say, started yesterday afternoon. Some of what we laid down was washed off, but we've been applying all 60 trucks all night, and we'll continue to do so 24 hours on 12-hour shifts until we get on the other side of this.
And Alan also certainly is the one that can help with this next item. The city approved Tuesday's council meeting that we are going to renew our conservation rebate program again. It was kind of spelled out in Tuesday's meeting. The particulars of that, we again will allows City of Wichita water customers to receive a rebate for purchasing appliance and irrigation devices to conserve water. I think we've set aside $100,000 for this program. Again, the items that are eligible for a $100 rebate will include high-efficiency washing machines, high-efficiency dishwashers, high-efficiency toilets, smart irrigation controllers, irrigation rain sensors. Rain barrels, again, are eligible for a $75 rebate. And want to mention that once a customer has been approved, the rebate will be applied to their water bill. So you're not going to get a check in the mail, Ted. You will get a rebate on your water bill. And I would encourage you, if you don't have a rain barrel on your house, put one on there. We all need to be conserving. Each customer is eligible for up to 5 rebates per service address. So since the first water rebate program was implemented in 2013, 199 million gallons of water have been conserved. And so I want to thank those folks that are Wichita water users and for their growing support to conserve water. It is still important to all of us. And again, Alan King is here if he can help answer any questions on both our preparation for the inclement weather that's coming into town and that program. And at this point, we will open it up for any other questions or concerns that you might have today.
Can you repeat that statistic, 199 million gallons of water since when?
Since the beginning of this conservation program. I think that's the right number in now. In 2013.
13, 14, 15.
Right.
That first year you did it, was that $1 million expenditure that first time?
It was a big number.
And then
Do you remember? Do you have that?
The total amount that was authorized was $1 million, but we didn't spend it all, so over the 3 years we spent that million.
So you understood that. Again, we set aside, $1 million, and then we've been spending it down, and that's how we came up with, I think, the $100,000 this year. Again, it's part of what was left in reserves from previous programs, and we continue to utilize that.
Have you just spent up to that $1 million, the $100,000 is the cap on that, or have you gone over $1 million?
Well, again, we're only authorizing $100,000 this year, so we haven't gone over the $1 million in total, I don't believe yet.
Okay.
We spent the $1 million in 2015, and now we've authorized an additional $100,000.
So we're at, if we use this, it'd be $1,100,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, Mayor, if someone falls on your sidewalk outside your business, who's at fault?
The residents and businesses have an obligation to clear their sidewalks. Once you get into a dispute over an accident and legal opinion, I'm not prepared to go there, although I've taken a legal course or two, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to apply that today. But I know that we specifically tell people it is your obligation to clear those sidewalks, whether it's a resident or a business.
And really, the city's response to your parking lots, City of Wichita parking lots, are you guys putting salt?
We are, and you'll notice that when you walk around, and we do the same thing. We want to make sure that we can provide as safe of an opportunity for people to, whether they're walking or riding or driving or whatever they're doing. We want them to do it as safely as possible. So you'll see us put that down, and we have in this event too, recently.
Is it city code? I mean, is there an ordinance that says you have to protect your sidewalk from ice?
It is a city code ordinance that says that you have to maintain that. We often get into some of those disputes when you see a sidewalk in disrepair, and we require the homeowners to repair that, and you'll see some of those repairs happen throughout the city from time to time. You know, if the sidewalk's buckled or there's a big chunk missing, and they can be flagged, and we ask the homeowner to make those repairs. If we make those repairs, we will assess those back to the homeowner typically. So no different than in inclement weather event where we would require them to make sure that that sidewalk is passable with pedestrian traffic.
What about parking lots per se? I mean, do you guys?
I don't know that we govern so much private parking lots.
So like Walmart.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there's a code that governs private parking lots.